This week we have a special edition of the Everyday Eurasia Podcast. Voices from across the region take us on a journey from Easter to Pentecost. Today we join Dr. Deirdre Brower, Principal of Nazarene Theological College Manchester.
I wonder how you imagine that first Easter day. The power, the emotion, the grief, the brokenheartedness, the weeping. It's all so very natural. And certainly on that first Easter morning, after the night before, a night of trauma and weeping and wondering what on earth has happened, we get this glimpse of Mary Magdalene coming to the tomb, head bowed low, grief in her heart. I imagine her coming full of hope and pain and suffering. She comes to honor her beloved master, her friend, her companion, the one who had healed her miraculously and freed her from everything that held her captive, the one she'd followed so faithfully. And here he was, dead, in a tomb. Can you imagine her thinking? But what she finds is not a sealed grave, but an empty one, where she encounters, firstly, two angels. He's not here. I imagine her amazement, her puzzlement, her bewilderment, her weeping eyes still streaming with tears, and her question, but what can this be? What is happening to me? And then, of course, we know what happens. She turns around, and in this place, in this time, this tomb-filled garden is revealed as not just being any garden. Instead, it's the setting of the writing of the world. It's creation restored. It's the inauguration of a new Eden, a new beautiful space where all is right with the world. It's the tilting of the universe towards hope, new life, new creation, restoration of all things, the beginning of life. The Gospel of John tells us that Mary turns and mistook Jesus for the gardener. And in that tiny bit of detail lies a world of meaning, where the first Adam walks amongst the trees of the garden in his failure and shame. The risen Christ now walks in resurrection life, in his triumph, his victory, his hope, his wholeness. Where the first Adam hides and blames others, this new Adam, this risen Christ walks freely, restoring life and hope of new relationships made right by his presence. In this garden, in this Adam, this is where death is undone, where sin is silenced, where creation itself is reborn, where the man and the woman encounter each other, and it's truly holy. Mary's tears were real, her loss was real, but then her master, her teacher, speaks her name. Mary, he says. Her name on his lips, she is known. And in this encounter with the risen Christ, everything changes. In this garden, God walks, risen, wound scarred, breath of life filled, victorious. And he calls the eager watcher by name. He knows, he says. In this garden, Mary, this woman of no particular reputation, becomes the apostle to the apostles, the first to proclaim daringly resurrection. Jesus says to her, Mary, don't hold on to me. Go to my brothers, tell them. He redefines everything, and he makes her his apostle, his gospel carrier, his good news witness, his life-bearing, hope-filled woman who says, the Lord, he's not dead, he's risen. And in this is the birth of all things new relationships, new creation, where the disciples all are now his brothers and sisters, where old barriers are broken and a new family is formed by grace in faith, where women and men together discover a new reality, a new hope, new possibility, that death is not the end, that there is life after death. And as N.T. Wright says, there is life before life after death. For in this world, even now, Jesus, who is alive, has changed everything. Mary, our hope carrier in John 20, becomes a hope carrier who reminds us that we too can encounter Jesus, hear our names on his lips, and in that moment, that encounter, find ourselves transformed and renewed. This is the power of Easter. Not just that Jesus is alive, but that everything is being made new, including us. New life, new creation, new hope, new identity. In the garden of the resurrection, the garden of life, we hear our names spoken in love. We find healing where we expected only grief and loss. And we're sent out, like Mary, to tell the world. Suffering doesn't win. Sin does not have the victory. Death is not the end. Instead, Jesus is alive. He is risen. The tomb is empty. The gardener is the king. And this is just the beginning. We too can encounter him. Christ is risen, friends. He is risen indeed.
Thank you for listening to the Everyday Eurasia podcast. To find more of our Easter to Pentecost resources for individuals and small groups, please visit our website eurasiaregion.org.